University, where we take adult shit and cut it into kid-sized pieces. My name is Miss A, and today in Humanomics, we'll be starting a series called When I Grow Up. Basically, it's a series in which we talk about adulthood realizations. With that being said, let's get started, shall we? When I was a kid, I went to theater camp, and there was a song called When I Grow Up. Now, don't quote me, but I believe the song is a musical from the Peter Pan play. So ironically, even when the song talks about not growing up, it's ironically led me to thinking about how we do eventually grow up. It's inevitable that we grow up. But getting to adulthood chronologically is different from getting to adulthood mentally. And so in this series, I'll be talking about adulthood realizations that will hopefully either add to what you know or give you something to think about. So let's start with the first one. So one of the first realizations you come to as an adult, and if you haven't by now, then let me be the first to tell you, is that your parents are just human. And I remember when this epiphany happened to me. I was visiting my mother's childhood home when a relative of hers handed me a stack of photos of my mother as a young woman. And I remember just, thinking how beautiful she is, but also it dawning on me that she basically was a whole other person before I met her. And I wondered what her dreams and aspirations were and what she thought about life. And as the saying goes, or the quote goes, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So, not talking about the parents who have put their child in physical, verbal, or sexual harm, excluding that, but more so for those who just have parents who may have lacked in one or two areas, such as maybe being not as affectionate or affirming with their words, that kind of thing. If your parents basically have been there for you, even if they have lacked in their parenthood per se, as an adult, being in the throes of life, you know that, you can have the best aspirations, but then you have to adjust to how life is dealing with you and how you're going to deal with life, basically. And sometimes, that includes the fact that you could have basically the best aspirations, but you have to make do with what you have. And we are all products of our environments. We're products of our parents, both DNA-wise and also the environment that they raised us in, and, of course, how they raised us. So taking all of that into consideration, if your parents have basically been around, and even if they've lacked, of course, toss out the childhood script about what they should have been to you and just accept them as the humans that they are. And as an adult, you can choose to relate to them adult to adult, and that means just accepting them for who they are, as you would hope that they accept you for who you are, and moving forward from there. So the second realization I want to speak to you about today is that while a good portion of us will never make it to Forbes' top 100 millionaire-billionaire list, it doesn't mean that we can't aspire for it. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about just having the typical savings. Don't get me wrong, saving and having saving is definitely a part of that process, I believe. But savings doesn't really adequately make you a ton of money or make your money work for you the way I'm going to talk to you about. I want to make money moves that are similar to those who are on the Forbes list. And for sure, one of them is at least investing in assets, which of course speaks to the wealth that has put them on the Forbes list, right? With that being said, I'm not a stockbroker, so I'm not going to go into details or what have you, but I would encourage those who are curious about this to definitely do their own research, find a platform or a financial institution that will help you get more knowledge and get involved in like buying stocks, etc. And there are financial institutions that are absolutely willing to help, but they do charge you up front for, you know, helping you make that transaction. Whereas there are apps such as Robinhood that allow you to make, you know, to buy, to purchase stocks and to look up stock. Just with the ease and accessibility of looking at on your phone, you can just make purchases through Robinhood in terms of buying stock. Now, they don't charge you up front, but I will leave a link down below as to their website so that you can read up on them and find out more for yourself. But just consider the fact that wealth isn't just acquired just by savings. It is, or I should say wealth, financial security, because that's basically what we're all looking for, hopefully, is not just obtained by adjusting one's lifestyle and savings, but also the mindset that your money can work for you instead of you always working for the money. So I'll leave the link below to Robinhood. That is the only app that I personally use and know of that I feel comfortable at least telling you about. Now, feel free to look up other apps. There are a variety of apps that do the same thing as Robinhood, but again, that'll be your research. And the last realization in terms of this classroom discussion, but not in terms of life, of adulting, of course, is that you don't look for your reflection in others' eyes. And when I say that, I mean, we come into this life and we're born male or female, black, white, Hispanic, what have you. And we go through this life acquiring label after label after label. And of course these labels, whether some see it as a benefit or detrimental, help us navigate through life, and or for the better or worse of it, help us navigate through life, right? But as we get into adulthood and past, you know, our, you know, milestones of graduating high school, college, or what have you, you know, certain other labels come into play that make us think to ourselves, like, if I don't have this, what does that mean? In other words, like marital status, if you're single and you're a certain age, or, you know, have you checked off the box and you're married? Are you a parent yourself? Or do you have kids? You know, and if you don't by a certain age, what does that mean for your life, you know? Even job titles, such as, you know, I want to be, you know, associate by this time, and, you know, manager or, you know, executive at this time, and if I'm not, what does that mean? And let's not forget the social media realm, in which, you know, everybody has ability to comment on your life, whether they see a picture. Of course, it's as you share it, right? There are certain settings in other places, but if you are trying to be a quote-unquote open book, then you basically invite the world to speak on what they see via pictures, video, or even your own commentary. And so I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already taken this as self-knowledge, is that you shouldn't look for your reflection in others' eyes. There is a thing where it comes down to this. They say perception is reality. So if you are mean to everybody and people think that you're a mean person, you're probably a mean person. But when I say looking for your reflection in others' eyes, I really mean looking for your value in your in that label or in others' eyes, be it social media. So if you're single and you don't like it, but it shouldn't matter to who you are, because you're still an individual who is worth loving, and you hopefully will find it, right? You don't have to be looking for your sense of value as a person through labels, through the reflection of others' eyes. So I want to encourage you that if you are, you need to stop. You need to understand that what you bring to the table is yourself. And if there's areas in your life that you need to improve, well, then go ahead and improve those areas. But if you're looking for a pat on the back, or to attain a label is to attain happiness, well, then you'll always be missing the mark. And because once you acquire one label, then you'll be looking, okay, well, what else can I do? And it is about finding the happiness within, being satisfied of the person that you are, knowing your value, your weaknesses, your strength, being self-aware, and working on the areas that you can. We can all do better in life in whatever areas that we are faulty in, but definitely we can also do better even in the areas that we are good in. There's no stopping the evolution as long as you're adaptable and willing to learn, right? So don't look for your value in other people's eyes, or labels, or status. The most important thing about it is that you are always evolving to be a better version of yourself. But remember, learning and growing is a necessity of life, but your reflection should always come from the value you have from within, and not from the things that come from the outside world. Well, that's it for today. Just a few adulthood realizations from one adult to another. Thank you for attending class. Go ahead and do your homework by subscribing to this channel, commenting, and thumbs up in this video. My name is Miss A, and until next time, remember, you must be this tall to pay bills.